Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, my lecturer, Ma'am Isli Ariana India Barupane. My name is Putri Natasha. My registration number is 2213321062. I would like to answer the question for the mid-test of academic oral linguist skills. For the number one question is, what makes good students? A student is a good student when she or he is always learning new things, not only from the classroom, but also from the environment around him or her. For a student asks numerous significant questions and makes an effort to learn the answers, finally leading him or her to the truth, we would also consider that kid to be a good student. And finally, it goes without saying that the grades a student receives on significant exams and tests will be used to determine whether or not they are a good student. But I think creating good students also depends on how we teach. For example, for students who have difficulty speaking English, as teacher, we can pay attention for the causes first. After knowing the cause, we can find the right solution to overcome it. Then the number two question is, what role should the teacher have in the classroom? And my answer is, a good teacher is someone who can fill many different roles in the classroom. They are leaders, caregivers, counselors, and more. Teachers play an important role in the education of their students and should be able to involve them in learning using different methods and strategies. And also, the teachers sets the tone in the class. They are responsible for creating an environment that allows students to learn and grow. Teachers achieve this by setting up stimulating and engaging classrooms with procedures and routines. Before students enter the classroom, the teachers need like a lesson plan. Moreover, in oral learning, teachers are expected to be able to provide opportunities for the students to speak up more in the public with confidence. Teaching children the school's required lessons should be a teacher's main responsibility. Then the value of discipline, punctuality, hard effort, honesty, and respect for others are just a few of the many key lessons of life that the teacher should impart to his or her students, while also serving as a mentor or role model in the classroom. And in the reality, a teacher's job in the classroom should involve instructing a student on how to behave honorably and responsibly in public. Then a good teacher occasionally teaches things that aren't written on the books in addition to what is written in the books. But the number three question is, do you think computers will one day replace teachers in the classroom? And my answer is no. Since students need human touch to behave and act like humans in the real world, I don't really like to think that computers will and should replace teachers like in the classroom one day, unless. But of course, we want our kids to turn into human robots. Although a computer can educate children how to act smart in the classroom setting, it generally won't be able to predict when to do so. Like a human instructor, a machine will undoubtedly be unable to teach children many other real-world human behaviors, emotions, and moral disciplines. Question number 4. How has teaching changed in your country in the last few decades? And my answer is, teachers used to primarily employ chalk, pencil, marker pens, and writing boards in the classrooms to instruct students, but computers, keyboards, projectors, and wall screens have mostly taken their place. Today, teachers and students are considerably more connected to one another than they were even 10 years ago. In fact, studying through digital games and learning apps is becoming increasingly realized these days because of the significant advancements in information and mobile technology. Finally, because it is now a lot simpler to collect data and information than it was a few decades ago, both students and teachers are learning more and more new things and sharing their knowledge with one another. Question number 5 is, what is the difference between the way children learn and the way adults learn? And my answer is, adults and children learn in essentially different ways. Others determine what needs to be thought next best on their own interest, whereas younger students depend on adults' teachers to provide them with the classes, homework, and subjects they will study next. Since they have no or very little experience from which to draw, like any conclusion, children typically tend to accept the information presented to them at face value. In contrast, adults typically attempt to challenge the information and only accept it after validating it in the context of their beliefs and experiences. And finally, whereas adults typically learn because they are interested, children are typically motivated to learn because of rewards or punishment. For the question number 6 is, how can a teacher make lessons for children and adults more interesting? The answer is, the greatest method, in my opinion, to make the lessons engaging is to make them increasingly participatory by letting the kids ask as many questions as they want, no matter how strange they may seem. Additionally, students feel more empowered to learn in the classroom, like the more questions they are permitted to ask. And if the kids are given the freedom to choose what they want to learn and how they want to learn it, and teachings can be still like engaging. Also, by establishing lessons that are more real-life focused, such as having students base their math problems on how much money they would like to spend on their favorite ice cream, teachers can make their classes more engaging for their students. And I think that's for my answer. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.